Welcome back to Morning Thailand. As Kun Gov has mentioned earlier, there was a very big news, the important case that definitely shocked the public nationwide back in 2008, the tragic incident that happened at the very moment that all people, all Thai people and people all over the world should be celebrating the New Year because it happened on December the 31st of 2008, the New Year's Eve, the massive fire that took place at the well-known nightclub in Ekamai area, Ekamai Soi 9, in the first minutes of January 1st, 2009. I'm talking about the Santika Pub, Yes, if you remember, and if you have been in Thailand long enough, you could remember the footage.
It was one of the sites that, you were about to celebrate New Year, and that was like the first news of the year.
And this particular nightclub was very popular and well known among club goers at that time. And this incident, the blaze that caused the death of 67 people and the injury of many others, most of them teenagers who frequently visited the venue. And 2 years ago, the Criminal Court of Southern Bangkok had earlier sentenced 2 entertainment executives to jail for negligence that led to the incident. However, yesterday, one of them was cleared of charges. I will talk about the incident in the sentence in 2011 that prosecutors had originally charged 6 people, including Kun Wisut Setsawat or Sia Khao, the owner and executive of Santika Pub, Kun Thawachai Sithuma, the pub's operating director, Kun Pongthep Jinda, the entertainment manager, Kun Wuthipong Wailikri, the marketing manager, Kun Bunchu Lao Sinat, an executive with special effects company Focus Light Sound System, and also Kun Sarawut Ariya, the lead singer of the band Cold Burn, who was accused of lighting the fireworks that might have sparked the fire in the pub, because they said that the fire originated from the fireworks that the singer thrown into the ceiling, and there were materials of the ceiling that caused a fire. And at that time, the court found Kun Wisuk, the Focus Light Sound System, and Kun Bunchu guilty of negligence that led to the deaths of 67 people and the injury of scores more, and the carelessness that damaged property in violation of Section 290, 300, and 301 of the Criminal Code, and also the law governing entertainment venues. However, Sia Khao and Kun Bunchu were sentenced to 3 years in prison each, and the Focus Light Sound System was fined 20,000 baht at that time. But the 2 men were granted bail with 500,000 baht, and they later filed an appeal. And yesterday, the appeals court has acquitted Sia Khao, the owner of the nightclub, from the charges, but still upheld the 3-year sentences on Kun Bunchu. The court cited that Kun Wisut or Sia Khao was not one to blame for the incident, for the blaze that happened, because if there's any violations of the criminal code that Kun Wisut had conducted, it was his failure to put on signboards a warning telling club goers where the exits were, because at that time, this particular venue has housed up to 1,000 people.
It was overcrowded.
Yeah, over
That's
capacity. And a lot of people scrambled for life after the fire started, and they said
I remember one of the exits could not be opened.
Yeah, because
That's
the
the
guards
problem.
did not let the club goers out. They did not know what happened inside.
Yeah,
They
was like one of the worst tragedy ever.
And not just for, there's also reports of stampede as well that caused people to death. They said that the owner did not put up signboards of the exits or the alarm,
the fire alarms and
yeah,
such.
the fire alarm.
That's the thing. There's like a lot of problem with this particular pub at the time that, it just failed all the regulations in terms of having to install all the safety measures and such. It did not do it. And this is that's why I think it's quite shocking, because if you cannot get the owner to be punished for the fact that he failed to install all these safety measures that required of him,
Yeah.
then who are we supposed to blame for this particular case, right? It is a tragedy. I know that he's not intend to do it, but the fact that he failed to do it to begin with, that should count for something.
And that's the thing, because one of the victims' family said that they will later file a petition to the Supreme Court later on, because they said that the losses was really great. Some of the people, more than 100 people suffered, injured from this incident, and around 32 of them seriously. I saw from the footage of the court sentence back in 2011, one of the victims was badly burned, like 70% burned all over his body.
Yeah, that's one of the incidents that, I think this is one of the time I have to say that the court failed me greatly.
And earlier reports said that Kun Wisut had walked free because he has a lot of influence.
Of course, that's what happened. But now to another case that apparently, this person doesn't have that much influence, so obviously he got a jail term. Now I'm talking about the case back in September 16th of 2012. There has been a talk or report about the plastic surgery gone bad. And of course in Thailand there seems to be a lot of one of those fake doctors that go around with just
his suitcase.
Exactly, his suitcase, and he just giving out either Botox injection or filler for a lot of people. However, for this particular case, Kun Nakhonratchasima, age only 24.
Oh, just 24?
He claimed to be a doctor. He doesn't have any license or any knowledge of actually be able to perform this kind of surgery and such. However, he gave an injection to Kun Atithaya Yamyai, age 32. Now, she was one of those what we call a pretty or a hostess girl or almost an MC that go around to different exhibition and such, and dress very pretty. So she actually contacted him to get a filler on her left and right hip to make her hip a little bit more full. However, due to the fact that Kun Thanat did not have any knowledge or even capacity to perform such thing, somehow he thinks that he could, he injected the filler in. It did not go into the muscle, but instead it went right into the bloodstream.
Oh, that's so bad.
Yes, and that caused brain damage to Kun Atithaya, and she passed away later on. So at this point, they say that Kun Thanat has already given Kun Rabiep Pin Klap, who's the mother of the date victim, 150,000 baht. However, the court yesterday has handed him a sentence of 2 years jail term. And the lawyer claimed that since he hasn't been in jail before, hasn't done anything like this, they were asking for more lenient or at least just kind of probation and such. But the court said that due to the fact that this is one of the things that a lot of culprit or any other people that try to do this should be set as an example case, the court decided not to grant the probation, but to make it a little bit more lenient. Instead of being jailed for 2 years, he has to serve 1 year jail term. But for killing someone, I think that's quite lenient already. But this show you can find that if he has a little bit more, power and money, perhaps he will get away with this.
Yeah. That's right. That's what happened in Thai society and justice system.
It is sad, but I think at least for this particular case, he got a 1 year jail term, and that hopefully prevent other people who somehow think they're capable of becoming a doctor to do something like this. And be very careful. If you need to get plastic surgery, go to a hospital. Pay a little bit more.
However, there's a case in Chiang Mai province back several years ago that I remember there was a sentence yesterday as well. Dr. Charlie, the owner of Charlie's beauty clinic in Chiang Mai province, who caused the death of a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah,
Yes,
Kun
that's
Siriporn
right.
Muima. Now, Kun Charlie is Dr. Charlie Kanchanarak.
Yeah.
Also causing death as well. However, the victims requested over 12 million baht.
Yeah.
For compensation, and obviously due to the fact that he's probably have a lot more money, he at this point did not go and receive his sentence. Apparently he just MIA. So at this point they are asking that he turn himself in because he's still not.
She went there for liposuction.
Yeah, 17.
17, yeah.
That's just
I'm
sad.
27.
Oh, are we are we saying ages on air now? Okay.
I just said that I haven't thought of taking that method.
See, she has some problem. She thinks that she's big. All right, move on.
From that, moving on to a very big news as well, the incident of the Lao Airlines plane that crashed into the Mekong River earlier. There were reports yesterday that a part of the Lao Airlines plane that crashed last week has already been retrieved on Tuesday. However, the black box from the ill-fated aircraft has still not been recovered. Lao divers and rescue workers had hauled the 10-meter part of the stricken ATR 72600 from the bottom of the Mekong River at around 3:30 p.m. yesterday, and they had already painted the airline logo and plane number in black. According to the regulations, when the incident happened to an airline's plane or any particular equipment of the planes, they had painted in black. The plane, which was found about 400 meters from the crash site, was already transported by the truck to Pak Se Airport for further inspection. And the chief diver from the recovery team said that they did not find the black box or any bodies in the aircraft. However, there were reports on Monday that they had detected the signal of the black box already, but could not find or recover the bodies of 3 Thai passengers killed in the airline's crash in southern Laos had already been transported back to Bangkok on Tuesday afternoon as well aboard the Air Force plane DC-130 aircraft that has left Pak Se in southern Laos about 2 p.m. local time with the 3 bodies and also members of their families. The plane touched down at Wing 6 at Don Mueang Airport shortly before 5 p.m. Earlier, the aircraft had dropped off 10 Navy divers and officials at Utapao Air Base in Rayong on the way from Lao province because Lao authorities said that they did not need further help from Thai authorities anymore because the recovery or the operation had near completion already. And apart from that, they also brought home 13 officers of the Supreme Command and 10 police officers who had also helped in the search and recovery operation. The bodies returned to Thailand were Kun Phakawat Athirattanachai, Kun Khanung Chadkasamchai, and Kun Wikit Busara Wuthanu, while the body of another Thai victim has also been recovered and identified yesterday as well, bringing the number of the Thai victims found in the Mekong River to 4. He was Kun Yanyong Apanan, the PTT engineer. Kun Yanyong's body is expected to return to Thailand today. However, a 5th Thai passenger reported to be aboard has still not been recovered yet. The Director General of the Airlines Planning and Cooperation Department revealed to the Vientiane Times, the newspaper there, that the airline will pay 78,800 baht to the family of each victim, plus the additional 155,000 baht from its London-based insurance company Willis Space. However, they said the initial payment is intended to cover the funeral expenses, but he did not rule out further compensation. One of the victims' family said that they would later fight in the court for more compensation because they said that that's too low compared to what he had lost in this particular incident, and the loss cost to the family. He would fight in the court for a higher payment. There was a negotiation on Monday between the families of the dead victims and also Lao authorities and the insurance company talking about the compensation because the family is seeking 15 million baht each.
Wow.
For the dead victim, and the representative from the insurance company in England will arrive in Laos on Thursday to assess the situation later on. So we still have to keep a close watch on this particular incident because that might tarnish the what could I say, cooperation or relationship between Thai and Lao authorities as well.
Right. But at least, well, from what we see, the wreckage is quite bad, as you can see there. And at this point, we probably going to have to wait and see what would be the information inside the black box itself.
Yes, of course.
All right. Moving on to the flood incidents here in Thailand is still ongoing. However, at this point, Kun Prapasop Suratsawadi, who is in charge of the flood situation, has been mentioning that one of the most concerned spot, even though it's not the most severely hit, the two severely hit provinces are Prachinburi and Chachoengsao. And at this point, that wasn't the case. However, the case is that Nakhonratchasima seems to be in quite a bit of a trouble now due to the fact that the stagnant water has gone quite bad already and has released a foul odor, but they could not do anything about it because if they try to release the water from the area, that means that the lower land area would actually have to take those water instead. So at this point, it's almost like there's nothing much they can do. Now, this is a situation in the Chalermphrakiat district as well as in Phimai district. Now, they say that in Mueang Nakhonratchasima district, the waters has been receding already, but like I have mentioned, in other districts, there seems to be quite a bit of a problem. Plus, nearby area, there's stagnant water, but they could not release from anywhere because at this point, they are getting water from Lamtakong Canal as well as the water that coming in from the Lamchat Dam as well as Lam Munbon Dam from the Khonburi district and the Lamprapheung Dam water released from the Paktongchai district as well. So it seems like the situation in Nakhonratchasima is in a deadlock because there's not much they can do in terms of trying to release the water. It seems like they probably will have to wait and hopefully there's not going to be any high tide that, or any more rainwater that will cause more problem. They say that at this point, over 1,300 households has already been impacted just in the Chalermphrakiat district alone. And in other area, obviously, as well, they said that at this point, there are about 76 dead reported already. But all in all, it seems like about 26 provinces has already seen quite a bit of a recovery. But there are still 21 provinces that under quite a bit of a severe flooding situation and they have to watch out for it. So 3 days from now, according to Kun Prapasop, Phimai would be Phimai district of Nakhonratchasima province would be one of the spot to look out for in terms of more flood to get into the area. So hopefully we will get to report less and less of flood situation pretty soon. All right, with that we're going to take another short break, but when we come back we have quite a bit of updates in terms of changes that coming out from the cabinet. I have a little bit of adjustment in terms of grades of grade 9 students because to pass on into the grade 10s high school, they will have to have a little bit higher grades.
And also some good news for travelers as another visa restriction has already been mentioned in the cabinet yesterday, so please stay tuned.